Peace, 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 y'all. And welcome to our AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. I am your host, Empress Coach Rena Nicole. And we are here today, and the topic of the day is toxic positivity. We're going to jump right into that. I just want to give you a few quick reminders that we are streaming live from YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Spotify, Anchor, StreamYard, and Clubhouse. Yes, Clubhouse. So if you are on Clubhouse or the Spoon app, you have to hit the button to raise your hand and come up to the stage. If you are on Spoon, hit the phone icon to come to the shades and share your story. I just want to say great rising, good morning, and let's get to it. So, something we never ever discuss is toxic positivity, and that's something that really, really exists in this society. It's like on a triple being, okay? So, when you think, how can toxicness, how can positivity be toxic? Like how? you know um so it's not coming with the energy of being a negative Nancy. Okay, so there's enough, there's something to be said about having a sunny disposition about yourself or in life and having optimism. And there is a possibility for you to definitely project the air of, let's look at the brighter side of things, and never addressing the side of things that will hold you accountable, or the side of things that help you process, to help you persevere, to help build you into being resilient. Okay, so that's more where we're coming from. So everything worthwhile in life is went through surmounting the associated negative experience, right? So an attempt to escape the negative, to avoid it, or to quench it or silence it, it only backfires. The avoidance of suffering is a form of suffering in itself. Okay? The avoidance of struggle is a struggle. The denial of failure is a failure. Hiding what is shameful itself is a form of shame. All right? So let's get into what is toxic positivity now. Okay, so toxic positivity is the excessive and ineffective overgeneralization of a happy, optimistic state across all situations. The process of toxic positivity results in denial, minimization, and invalidation of authentic human emotional experiences. Yes, honey, we are getting into it. Dun, dun, dun. you know, as humans, we have this tendency to define toxic positivity, when it's, about the excessiveness and the ineffective overgeneralization that we just literally talked about. It's just like, man, that's not true. It doesn't exist, So just like anything done in excess, when positivity is used to cover up or silence the human experience, it becomes toxic. And this was what I mean by so many people practice toxic positivity. I actually had a real live conversation this morning with one of my friends on Clubhouse, and we were talking about invalidation. And a lot of the times people invalidate other people with somebody else's struggle. So what I mean by this is, say for instance, if something happens to you in your existence and someone comes along and says, well, at least you're not dead. So it's basically saying, no matter what you're going through, just remember that you're alive. And that means nothing. They minimize what you're going through. And like I said, that really sticks the gun to people are stuck on toxic positivity. The same people that practice, instant gratification, the same people that literally follow people. Like, it's okay to follow someone online, but not follow them, if you know what I mean. So these people definitely practice toxic positivity. They invalidate your existence to make points. And they minimize things that happen to you to make other points, as if you should be happy that something worse didn't happen. So what happened to you was smaller. And that's an example of toxic positivity. Okay? So by disallowing the existence of certain feelings, it creates a space to fall into a state of denial and repressed emotions. Okay? And the truth behind that is that humans are perfectly flawed. Some humans get jealous, all humans get angry, some of them get resentful, and a lot of them become greedy. Okay, so in this existence, you can get just feel like really stagnated, and pretending that you are positive vibes, like positive vibe tribe all day long, it denies the validity of genuine human experience. So this is when I say something like, if you ever hear me ever, because I don't really necessarily walk around saying people are fake or phony, but if you ever hear me say like fugazi or like that's just fakeness, it's rare because I try to allow people to have their own space to be who they are. But typically when I'm saying things like that, it's because someone is projecting toxic positivity, and they're not being their authentic self, because they don't even know who that is at this point. All they know is that they don't even see it as them walking around invalidating others to make points, or invalidating others' experiences to I guess they call themselves impacting people positively. People that are not that in tune with themselves might not take it as someone invalidating them. They might not see it because they don't know how it feels to be in tune with themselves and have that experience and be okay with experiencing the human experience. Okay, so let's go over a list of things that you might help you identify if you are being toxic, if you are displaying toxic positivity. I couldn't get it out for some reason. Okay, it's like brain fart. Okay, so hiding and masking your true feelings is definitely one of the projections that you would have, is just agreeing to get along, just going with the crowd, being like a sheep, SHEEP, a sheep. Okay, not being someone who is okay with how you feel inside, that's aligned with your core values, that's okay with your true self, and you're not afraid to express that. So when you hide and mask your true feelings, you are definitely displaying toxic positivity. Okay, so and then the second one was just going along to get along, stuffing yourself and dismissing emotions. Okay, and number three, of course, is that guilt trip. You're always feeling guilty for how you feel, always feeling guilty for existing, always feeling guilty for experiencing. Okay, now the next one is minimalizing other people's experiences with feel good culture statements, like we just went over. We literally just went over that. And so many people display that. Oh, you could be here. Oh, I understand your house burned down, but you could be, this way. Not validating that they're in pain. They lost all their belongings, possibly. It's traumatizing. Not acknowledging that exists, because they would see that as quote unquote negative. What they do is like, you know what, you're alive, so let's look at the positive. Not saying that they're not happy that they're alive, but they're literally invalidating the entire experience of what someone went through by saying these positive vibe tribes, or just things like that. And a lot of people walk around saying that all day long, especially on social media. I just remove myself from negative people. Dun, dun, dun. And all along, they're the biggest negative ones. That's the whole flex. Seriously, like a therapist couldn't wait to get their hands on some people. Now, trying to give someone perspective, that goes along with the minimizer. So that's number 5, of course. Instead of validating their emotional experience, like, you know what, I understand you're going through this. I'm sorry this happened to you. Let me know if you need someone to talk to, or let me know when you're available for some motivational conversations where I can inspire you to feel better or something like that. And the thing about people is they don't even ask anymore. They just have audacity. People have a lot of audacity. They don't even ask you if it's okay for them to try to give you advice or to inspire you, or to, is it the right time when something happened? Okay, people just run their mouth too much, and they're not mindful, they're not intentional when they speak, and that's the thing. So shaming or chastising others for expression frustrations or anything other than positivity, you are toxic positive. And it's like, but when you do it, God forbid that anyone points the finger at you and say, hey, you're being negative, or hey, you're being very low vibrational, when you're just simply expressing your human experience and things you're going through. I tend to stay away from people like that. Even if I'm walking into spaces, like in conversation, or whether we're on the Clubhouse streets or Spoon streets, anywhere, Facebook streets, and I see people doing that to others, or I attend a live and someone says something of that nature, I tend to back out because I'm like, this person doesn't have empathy. They lack empathy and they're selfish and kind of like borderline narc. Don't like to diagnose people, but when you give that, you're giving off. You get what I'm saying? Period. So it's giving narc. It just is. So brushing off things that are bothering you, what it is what it is. Typically we say it is what it is after you're saying I'm not going to explain myself. We don't use it is what it is. Like, you know what? This is just life. This is just happening to me. I don't need to process. I don't need to gain more knowledge. I don't need to practice to show myself approval. I don't need to persevere through this because it is what it is. That's a defeatist attitude, and it's very toxic positive. It is. It's completely not cool to just walk through your life and not process and not gain more knowledge and not practice to make perfect and not persevere through life, because you're not going to gain that wisdom. You're not going to gain that energy that you're looking for. You're never going to realign yourself with your core values, and you're never going to elevate to the point that you need to elevate to, and living your righteous truth. So that's why, minimalizing yourself, what it is when it comes to your experiences, is very unhealthy and is very toxic positive. Okay. So let's go into it about some reasons why toxic positivity is bad for your health. I'm going to do a quick room reset. Go check out Spoon, because I always have people up on Spoon, shouting me out and saying hi to me. So I want to check it out on Spoon. And if you're on Clubhouse, don't forget to raise your hand. I could bring you up and you can share your experiences with toxic positivity, how you may be projecting it, or how you want to, how you're happy to be here, learning new ways to identify it, or how you avoid it when people are expressing it. Now, with that being said, this is the AM Inspiration Show to wake that ass up. We are streaming live from YouTube, Facebook, Clubhouse, Twitter, Spotify, Anchor, and Spoon. With that being said, we are in our Clubhouse room as well. So if you're on Clubhouse, hit that greenhouse at the top. Become a member, because guess what? This is 365 days a year, every single day, even when it's a blizzard. Period. So I just want to say welcome. So let me shout some people out that might be on Spoon, and I'm going to come back over to Clubhouse in 1 second. Now, with that being said, I'm just so happy that everyone is here, and thank you for attending. So hey y'all, Spooncasters, hi y'all, peace everybody. Thank you for coming in. Hey Overhaul, we're in the top 21 on Spoon. That's what I'm talking about. Spoon is another drop-in audio. I'm not getting paid, so I'm not gonna get deep into it, but it's just completely different. Welcome and great rising. Now, we're about to jump into some ways where toxic positivity is bad for your health. Okay, so there's this quote saying, "I'd rather be whole than good." Okay, so shame is one of the number one way where you can figure out that you are displaying toxic positive behavior. So to force a positive outlook on pain is to encourage a person to keep silent about their struggles. Okay, most humans don't want to be seen as a drag or bad, quote unquote bad. So when the choice is between A, being brave and honest, or B, pretend like everything is going great, most humans are tempted to adopt the latter, which is B. Okay, so that the energy source of shame is silence, secrecy, and judgment. Okay, so where there is hiding secrets and denial, shame is usually in the driver's seat. Okay, shame is crippling to the human spirit and one of the most uncomfortable feelings we can feel. Often we don't even know that we are feeling shame. So let's go over an example of how you may be feeling shame and how you may come across it, how you may be processing, how you may be dealing with it. So say for instance, if you were wearing something new, you're trying a new look, and you're like, you know what? Oh my God, what would people think about me if I wore this? And you wouldn't want the world to think that you're this way or that way. Like you want, oh man, if this is ugly, I want the world to think that I don't have style, so I'm not going to wear this, even though you may look extremely beautiful, or extremely fly or lit, whatever word you want to use when it comes to your style. That's a feeling of shame, embarrassment, seeking validation. So when you the next one is suppressing your emotions. So When we hide or deny feelings, it leads us to more stress in our bodies and increased difficulty avoiding distressing thoughts and feelings. You know, that decluttering, like the mind, where we have to declutter the mind to reframe our automatic thoughts. Our room is today at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Clubhouse. The club is Sustainable Relationships, and we're going to jump right into it. Decluttering the mind, reframing automatic thoughts today at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard, because this is what we're talking about: the suppressed emotions. When your mind is cluttered and you suppress those feelings and emotions, it's disturbing, okay? And like, it's basically goes like this: like, how can you express a broad range of emotions and having, words to describe how you feel, being okay with facial expressions, being okay to evolve, being okay to emote, crying, helping you to regulate your stress responses. And you have to really pull yourself into that area. I'm sorry, that was my son. And when you acknowledge the reality of your emotions by verbalizing them and move them, you verbalize them and move them out of your physical vessel. When you acknowledge your emotions, okay, that's what keeps us sane, healthy, and a release of the tension caused by suppressing the truth. The moment you start suppressing your emotions, you start living a lie. Point blank. Period. I think I'm going to have another room on the lies that we tell ourselves and we believe them, because that conversation is so transparent. It's so important to have, because so many stories that we begin to tell ourselves and we believe it. We live our life on those stories, and it's not even true. Those stories are not even true, and they be based off childhood trauma, adult trauma, whatever. But we believe those stories, and we move about in life as if these stories are true about us because we think them. And that's the whole part of reframing our thoughts and decluttering, so they no longer exist. That's the whole point of confronting your emotions at the head when you're experiencing them. Okay? That's so completely important. So once we begin to honor our feelings, we embrace all of ourselves, the high vibrational, the low vibrational, and we accept ourselves just as we are on the path to a robust emotional existence, okay? To a fulfilling life. And that's completely important, okay? The next one is isolation and other problems with relationships, okay? So when we begin to deny our truth, we live inauthentically, okay, with ourselves and with the world. We're not showing up as ourselves, and I'm not stuck on having this conversation about people not living in their righteous truth. It just, that's something that's there. That's a reality. That's not a projection. That's not a thought. That's not how I feel. It's there. People show up as their inauthentic selves because they think they're protecting themselves. They think that they're making other people happy, when in turn, they are unhappy with themselves and how they're showing up. You lose connection with yourself, and the world, and you make it difficult for others to connect with you. So while you may want to walk around looking unbreakable and looking beautiful from the external, okay, on the internal, you're just scared little children that's falling apart, and you can't manage, and you don't know how to cope. Okay. All right. So just think about that person that may have the best intentions in the world, and the message they're sending out mindlessly, okay? Mindlessly. The message they're sending out is, only good feelings are allowed in my presence. So you're not allowed to show up as your authentic self when you're around them. That's what they're saying to you. They don't accept that. They don't accept you being your authentic self. They don't accept your true emotions. They want you to mask yourself. They want you to hide yourself. They want you to live inauthentically just like them. Period. Point blank, period. Okay? So consequently, you end up complying with the implied rules of, I can only be a certain kind of person around you. I can't be myself. And what you decide to do is mask yourself and begin to live outside of yourself, externally, just like them. And you no longer reconnect with your internal. You're no longer connecting with your inside. You're no longer living in truth. Now you're living a lie, somebody else's lie based off of somebody else's bullshit. Period. I'm just saying, okay? I don't want to be around nobody I can't be myself with. I don't want to be around nobody I can't show up as myself. I don't want to be around nobody that can't handle my emotions because they expect me to handle their shit. You get what I'm saying? These people always are the biggest hypocrites in the world because they expect you to handle them as they are. Whether they are projecting their positive, toxic positive BS, or whether they just being chaotic and being destructive. They expect you to take them as they are, but they put ground rules on how you show up to them. I'm trying to tell you, it's time to wake that ass up. I'm trying to tell you. Consciously wake up out of that slumber because you'd be a damn fool to continue to put yourself around people where you can't be yourself. You will be a damn fool to continue to do that. Okay? The relationship yourself by far is the highest priority in your existence. The relationship with yourself by far is the highest priority in your existence because without you, then who? Dun, dun, dun. Period. I'm trying to tell you. Because people don't realize that when they do this, when they minimize themselves, when they lower themselves just to be a part of a group of people, just to be popular, just to be known by other people, what they don't realize is that they're impacting themselves in unhealthy ways. They're impacting how they receive. They're impacting how they project. Okay, just think about it. If nobody is able to hold space for you, show them as your authentic self, why the fuck would you want to be around them? Why? What about you is so less than? What about you is so inferior that you can't show up as yourself? Wake up out of it. Snap out of it. Because that lie you're telling yourself is not true. I don't care what someone else's standards are. I don't care what someone else's boundaries are. If they can't handle real humans' emotions, tell them to get the fuck out of your life. Point blank, period. They don't deserve you anyway. Period. Okay? Woo! Listen, by curating and taking an emotional world, we attract more fakeness, resulting in counterfeit intimacy and superficial friendships. Period. Counterfeit intimacy. That shit is not real. It's surface level. Listen. It's the song called Through the Fire. Through the fire, through the living, through the walls, for a chance to be with you. I gladly risk it all. And maybe I'm just too passionate. Because if you're not willing to go through the fire, if you're not willing to risk it all, then stay away from me. Because I'm that deep. Some people are fake deep. They only sound deep. They only sound deep. It's only surface level. Because when you talk to them, it's like this. It's just constant brain farts, okay? Because they don't even know who they are authentically. And this is why I create this podcast, so you can learn how to be yourself authentically. Because you showing up as somebody else, you showing up as somebody else's projection, you showing up as the idea of somebody else is bullshit. And you deserve better. Point blank, period. Yes, I'm being Potty Mouth McGee today. And if you can't stand the heat, then get the fuck out the kitchen. Listen. I'm just saying because I think that people don't realize how low vibrational using toxic positivity is. And I'm just saying, listen, I've talked to thousands of people, maybe hundreds of thousands of people over the years, with this coaching platform and just like being a community member, having boots on the ground, and just before that, I always, seem to attract people in my existence that want to talk to me. Strangers, just caring for children, doing like Montessori, doing all types of things in my existence where I have this experience of being with the community. And something I realize is that there's so many people out there that project toxic positivity. I didn't have the words for it when I was younger. I used to always just wonder, like, why are these people trying to make me feel bad for experiencing life? Why they're not, just letting me have this experience? This experience is not the end of the world. And I understand that. But they're not even being supportive of the experience before they try to jump into some other bullshit that had nothing to do with me. You know what I mean? It had nothing to do with this experience. And they think that they're being these philosophers, these Instagram philosophers, these Clubhouse philosophers, YouTube philosophers, whatever they call themselves, these Facebook philosophers. They think they're impacting in healthy ways, okay? When they're only bringing you down more. They're only invalidating your experience because they think they've done something. No, they're living in their unrighteous truth. and they're dragging you to the pits of hell with them so you can live it with them. Period. Okay? So, listen, we're going to go over a few more statements so you can recognize if you are projecting toxic positivity, if you're experiencing toxic positivity from someone, because you need to address that. Okay? It's like you don't have to say, yo, mother, you know what? Beep, beep. You know, you don't have to do that. But you can say, you know what? I don't like how when I'm experiencing things, you have this way of, invalidating my experience and putting another, quote unquote, shining your light into my situation. And it's completely okay to do that. Okay? So let's go on some toxic positivity statements. They may be said to you, and then we're going to go to non-toxic acceptance and validation. Okay? Now, don't think about it. Stay positive. Now, what they could have said was, tell me how you're feeling. I'm listening to you. Okay? That's a better way to do it. So, like, if you're not sure how to respond to someone when they say that, you're like, you know what? They should have said to you was, tell me how you're feeling and I'm listening. Not don't think about it. Stay positive. The next one, of course, is the ultimate toxic positivity. Don't worry, be happy. It's a whole song. It's a whole song. Hakuna Matata, don't worry, be happy. What they could have said to you was, I see that you're really stressed. Is there anything I can do? Okay. Now, the next one is failure is not an option. Okay. What they could have said is failure is a part of growth and success. Period. It is. Okay. Point blank in the period. The one I don't like, the one I can't stand, especially like being in a spiritual community, people always are telling you everything will work out in the end. Instead of saying things like, I understand what you're going through is difficult. I'm thinking of you right now. Okay? Allow people to experience and process. Let me go on. Now, the infamous one that you may see everywhere, you probably use it yourself if you're listening to this replay or you're online right now, is positive vibes only. Okay? And you can say, I'm here for you in both moments of high vibration and low vibration, sis or bro. I'm going to always be there for you in either moment that you experience. You get what I'm saying? And that's the part where you step up and you step in and you're showing up as your righteous, authentic self. So something I don't like, if you can do it, if I can do it, so can you. Well, maybe that person is not, I'm not going to get deep into that. Let me go on. So the better thing to say is everyone's story, ability, and limitations are different, and that's okay. Okay? I'm going to say that one more time because a lot of people say that, well, if this person did it, then so can you. If this person had a scholarship, so can you. This is what should have been said to you. Everyone's stories, abilities, and limitations are different, and that's completely okay. For some reason, some people have it in their head that just because they might have a good spoon to them or been presented with possibilities, that everybody can have possibilities, that everybody gets experiences, or everybody can have the chance to make it where they have made it. And it's quite delusional. I know the struggle. I know that you have to work really hard. And sometimes, life experiences keep you from being your best self, and that's just a big, major possibility when it comes to living in the human, realm. It's just a big possibility. So that's why everyone's experiences, abilities, and limitations are different, and that's completely okay. All right. Now another one is look for the silver lining in it. Okay, why the hell would you want to? Okay, if you're upset and something's happening, why would you want to look for the silver lining in it? Hello. Dun, dun, dun. When all they could have said was, I see you and I'm here for you. Okay? It's a complete invalidation. It just is. This next one, it grinds my gears, okay? It grinds my gears, so I'm going to take a moment for myself, okay? Moment over. Now, so the next one is everything happens for a reason, right? So what they can say is sometimes we can draw the short straw in life. How can I support you during this hard time? Okay? Don't tell me that my husband cheated on me for a reason, bro. Okay? Hello? Dun, dun, dun. Hello? Hello? Okay. And the next one is just the worst because it literally is. It can be worse. Okay? And they can just say, damn, I'm sorry you're going through this. Really? It's really that simple. And that's it. That's all I got for y'all. When it comes to examples. Okay, so just try to remind yourself that being a healthy human involves being conscious of ourselves and how we show up in the world. When we recognize ourselves as a transmitter of toxic positivity, it's time to cut it out. Period. Dun, dun, dun. So you are hurting yourself, and you most definitely are hurting and impacting the environment around you where other people exist, okay? By insisting on this monochromatic mindset, okay? Instead of practicing toxic positivity, aim for balance in the acceptance of both high vibrational and low vibrational emotions rather than all or nothing thinking, okay? Now, this is for my woes out there. If you are influenced by toxic positivity, I encourage you to set healthy boundaries. Dun, dun, dun. With anyone who passes judgment on your authentic experience when you speak the truth, point blank, period. Hit it right there. Cut it out, B. I'm good. I don't need you to validate me. I had an experience earlier. I don't know how I ended up in the damn clubhouse room, and this man is just trying to tell me how to be an adult. And I'm like, listen, we're all grown-ups. You don't need to tell me how to speak. You don't need to tell me when to speak. You don't need to tell me why to speak, because we're all speaking. And I just cut it right there at the head. Oh, we should be this. No. You don't get to do that. You don't get to do that. You don't get to show up and tell me how to be as a person. I don't know who gave you the fucking magic wand of humanity, but you don't get to do that, okay? And sometimes you have to address people with their energy, because keep that same energy. When you give it to me, I'm gonna reflect it back with my mirror and put it back on you, and you get to keep it for yourself, okay? Because I didn't ask for that shit. You get what I'm saying? So I'm very assertive. I'm very direct, with people, and they don't like it because they want you to submit. They want you to be inferior. They want you to allow them to walk all over you and do the heel toe and do salsa dancing all up and down you, just so they can feel like they're superior to you and they have points proven. When it comes to toxic positivity, we get one chance at this beautiful, painful, imperfect life, okay? So we need to embrace it entirely, and you'll reap the rewards of the bountiful existence when you are standing in your righteous truth and stand up for yourself. With that being said, I am your host, Empress Coach Rena Nicole of RenaNicole.com, TheCurve.net, Sankofa's Natural Divine Intervention Show and Podcast. And today we were streaming live from YouTube, Facebook, Clubhouse, StreamYard, Twitter, and it's going to be up on Spotify and Anchor. So I will see y'all tomorrow, and you will get the topic of the day in the morning. Peace, y'all. Stay safe, stay healthy. Peace, y'all. Dun, 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 dun. Peace, spoon. Peace, babies.